Eric Devendorf, welcome to the Bus Driver Experience. How are we doing today?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me. It's about time, huh?
It's about time. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yes, we have.
I think I saw you at the TBT in New York. I want to say it was it last summer? No, 2 summers ago.
Yeah, we were in
Um,
Brooklyn, I think.
yeah. And then I saw you then. We had a great talk then. I was actually up in Syracuse when you guys were doing training camp up there. And then last year, we didn't fare as well, so good. I was actually supposed to be on that team way back in 2016, the first year. I think Belby asked me to be on that, and then I ruptured my kidney that year in a
Oh
basketball
yeah.
game in Kuwait.
Well, that that'll definitely set you aside, won't it?
It's sidelined me bad right there.
Yeah.
And that was when the playing career officially just ended from outside rec centers and yeah, just from rec centers in the park. But I mean, I still go out in the park and I still try and kill somebody on the other team. It's just
Well,
you played with me.
that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, absolutely. You're a pest. Like you're just always there and one of the quickest guys out on the floor. So no, you absolutely can do some. I like the rim you got on the back of the bus though, man. That's sweet.
Dude, the Hoop Bus project. I was actually talking with the other founders today. We got a bunch of things planned, but yeah, that thing is so cool, man. Just taking the basketball thing anywhere, and the guy who founded it is like really cool message. Just hoop anywhere with anyone, and
Yeah.
they need some lunatic to drive this thing who also played basketball, and they found me.
I
Who
bet
knew
you,
I would be so built for a job?
you guys. I bet you guys get a lot of attention with that for sure.
Oh man, it's just the amusement. It's like the perfect icebreaker to have a conversation with anybody or to hoop with somebody. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Jaw rolling by like that's a basketball on a bus. All right, can I shoot? And then you start shooting, you start hooping, and it's amazing, man.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we bring it out. We drove it all the way to Chicago for the All-Star game, um, and we remodeled the court out there on the west side of Chicago. They did a beautiful job rebuilding. I was just a bus driver and just working on the project when we got there, but they remodeled this entire court, sketched and etched a bunch of stuff into it. So these guys, the original Venice Basketball League, they do some really, really cool stuff. So I'm excited when this is all done in quarantine and everybody's out and about again. But that basketball is literally like a germ sponge right now. I'll
I
tell you.
know. I know. It's definitely tough. Yeah, well, we just got to make do with what we have right now, right? I mean, it's like a innovative and creative time, I guess.
Very. Hence the podcast.
Exactly.
I'd love to
Exactly.
do them in person. I know we've talked about doing them in person when I was in New York. Come on down, but we got it here, and I got you on the show. And I know you've been staying busy. I mean, you've been staying busy with doing all these basketball drills. You're on YouTube, starting a YouTube channel. We love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Welcome aboard.
I
Welcome aboard.
appreciate.
Oh, be excited for it. It's a pain in the ass to grow, but luckily you have a massive network already to really expand within it.
And and I'm really not like I just want to do the basketball part, right? It's like I'm not a big like tech guy or the best at like building up a YouTube page or anything like that. So it's like a new experience for me too, man. Just kind of getting it out there and kind of marketing it. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
you're putting the content out there, and then it's. I mean, it's different because I guess like I'm still learning about like the algorithms and things like that. When to put it out there, who's gonna see it? It's so much, and when somebody explained it to me, I'm like, man, listen, I just want to do the videos and put them out there and help these kids. But it's so much, it's so much involved. But it's cool, man. It's just like it's a learning on the go. It's like I want to be able to keep learning and doing new things.
I mean, that was the thing I wish, I had somebody in my ear in the locker room saying, get on, you should be posting every single day on your social media. You should be working this
Yeah,
thing, working that angle, because I think as athletes, and I'm still like, I don't push for this at all. Like, there's so much potential we have with the influence
yeah,
of who we've connected with before, or just, that alumni status. Kids know it from the university, but we don't recognize that as players because I think the
yeah.
pride and the ego is just way too big. Like, I don't need a handout. I don't need his help. I played basketball. I'm better than this person, but like we got to put that aside. You know, a lot of guys they wait till like almost at 35 or 40 to really say like I can do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think too, like, especially for athletes, I think they just identify as that. Like, this is what I am. And like, it's kind of tough to, see yourself, especially when you're, in that moment in college or pro, whatever it is, to be doing something else. Like, hey, it's like, especially like you said, being an athlete and having all these people, within your reach and, to use for resources, like you could do so much more. It's so much opportunity um, you know, out there besides, the sport that you are playing. So I think, we limit ourselves a lot of the times. I think in general as human beings to just, oh, this is all I could do. But you know, we have to realize that if you put the work in and try to learn something new or try to enhance your business, whatever it is, you could really do it. Just sit down, taking the time to figure it out. And um, I think it's cool too, man. It's like a process, like figuring more out about yourself. Like, hey, I'm more than just this. I could do many things, and it kind of like enhance yourself as a human being. You know what I mean? It's and we didn't. I had no thought of that in my mind. Like when I was playing, it was just like you said, it was just this basketball, basketball, basketball. I'm not thinking about the other stuff that I could be doing. So now it's cool to find that out.
No, I feel like that way career wise too. It was just like I am going to be a basketball player. I don't even care. I'm the 9th or 10th guy at Syracuse. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to be a ball player. Like there was just nothing else after that point in your mind. And you think about it now, all that we know, just like how so ingrained we were in those moments.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're not thinking outside the box. It's like, I mean, they say we only use 10% of our brain. I mean, I want to figure out how I can try to use the other 90%. You know what I mean? That's what I mean life's about, kind of figuring new stuff out and um enhancing yourself as a person. You don't want to stay like stuck and just like, hey, this is all I'm good at or this is all I can do, because anyone has the potential to do whatever they want. It's just, do you really want to figure it out and do it?
Yeah, that's the whole part. Like, oh wait, there is this much work that I actually have to put into something. Even if you train somebody, like, there's no way I have to work this hard. And it's so great when you have someone telling you like who hasn't worked that hard in something on the physical side, just like, oh no, man, you this is just the beginning. You don't even know what you got to do. Like the sacrifice
And
you got to get to lose weight, to make 10
yes,
shots in a row. Like it's, man, it's
to make 10 shots in a row, I mean, you're spending hours in the gym dedicated. And another athletes kind of might have a leg up because, when you go into trying to figure out how to do something else, like, what it feels like, or how hard you got to work to really get good at something already. You know what I mean? So you know the feeling of hard work and like determination. So when you put that same hard work and focus into something else, like you're going to get those results. You know what I mean? So athletes in that, uh, you're ahead of the game a little bit. You know what I mean? So
mhm.
it's just about, hey, broaden your horizons a little bit.
Now I want to take it back to college. So I got to play 1 year with you, and you were coming off a redshirt year. And I think we were all coming in that year. The Syracuse program itself was just like, 2 NITs in a row, not real. And no one ever sees potential in the Syracuse program, like at all, ever. I mean, preseason rankings, I mean, it almost is like bad that if we get a strong preseason ranking. So we usually get, very high up, 20 to 25 is the kindest we'll ever get in the entire year. It's on us to prove it. And then that year was just, it's incredible. A lot of highs, but we had a lot of lows that one. I know you had
Yes,
experienced a lot of lows. Um,
yes,
but I still remember, I mean, even that year, I mean, it was crazy. We had 6 overtime game, the amount of people we got to play against. We forget about that preseason NIT tournament. We're playing against number 1 Kansas Jayhawks. We go
yep,
into Kansas and we beat them up in the double overtime game.
yep.
But I still remember after the suspension and everything, when the entire Syracuse fan base had free T-shirts. Like that was loyalty. Like we got your back. 30,000 people. I was like, oh man, just chanting free E. I don't even know if you were in the building still that night or if you were on the suspension, but it was just
I don't even, you know what? I couldn't even live on campus. Like I had to move my stuff off campus into a off campus apartment. So, couldn't go to class really. I think that's the only thing I could do was go to class, but, I think I did it online or something, but no, that was definitely a crazy time. I mean, I learned a lot from that. Because when you take away something that you really love to do, it's tough, man. You have to kind of think about it, and the things you have to change and stuff like that. But that group of guys, man, what an awesome team. We had a lot of, like you said, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. That was the season where we had the 6 OT. So it was a pretty fun season for sure. Good group of guys to be with.
Yeah, I still JT Jay Tizzle. He still lives out in California, so I connect with him here and there. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he's still doing well, man. He's still my guy.
Yeah, JT. I
Yeah.
mean, he was the last one up there, just jumping around at the free throw line.
Oh man. Oh, what times. But I know that really played into your growth as a person because I remember being in Pittsburgh when you were back on the squad and just seeing and what a lot of people don't see and what you can't believe that other college kids are yelling at other college kids the things that would come out of people's mouths, and I saw that
Oh,
remember that game. It was tough for you because the things people were saying, and it was just like I can't even play ball right now without going in the crowd putting your hands around someone's neck. So I mean, how have you transitioned so much as a person? Because I know people look at you, and even people who knew you then was like, oh, people just saw you as the bad boy of college basketball, white guy with tattoos who trash
yeah,
talks. He can't be a good person.
right. Right. I mean, and all those people, they're just seeing me on the court. So they see me, like you said, tattoos. I'm talking trash. I play with an edge. I'm super passionate out there, emotional. So, automatically they're going to put, oh, this guy's an asshole. This guy, I don't like him without even, knowing what type of guy I am off the floor. So, but if you, hung out with me off the floor, I'm not that type of guy off the floor, So, and it's still, to some extent, that kind of is with me a little bit for those people who don't really know me. But I mean, as a player, like that's how I grew up playing. Like I was a passionate dude. I was super competitive, and I always talked shit. It was kind of like something that got me going. You know what I mean? And when I saw other guys on my team talking shit, I'm like, yeah, like let's go. You know what I mean? Like this is. I mean, if you're passionate about anything, you're going to be fiery about it a little bit. You know what I mean? You're going to,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. If you like golf, if you like, and if you make a bad shot, you're going to throw your club into the pond or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's just, but for all those people, like, and yeah, it's funny because that Pittsburgh game, I remember going out there and I was by myself shooting up, and I just remember the whole crowd started chanting. They started chanting the girl's name. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then and I remember Coach Boeheim, he came and brought me to the side. He was like, "You sure you want to go out there? Are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm all right." And it went on the whole season. Georgetown, that their band had a whole song about it. And so I
I
forget
remember
what it
that
was,
now.
but
Wow. I remember it. The hey, Eric
why'd you hit that? Yeah,
girl.
yeah, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And people are they're assuming, they're gonna make up stories, what happened, and they don't know what really happened. But at the end of the day, I'm the one who put that target on myself. You know what I mean? So I learned from that, and it was something that, now that I look back, I'm glad I went through it, because it changed me as a person, and how I got to carry myself, especially when you're in the spotlight. You know what I mean? You have to be careful of what you say, and even more so now, obviously, with social media. Just imagine back then if it was all the social media like we had now. You know what I mean? It would have been it'd have been over. Like, you know what I mean? So definitely learned a lot from that, and I'm better for it.
Mhm. Yeah, I really think we missed that curve of social media being 18 to 22-year-old men because even me, I mean, I lived pretty fun, wild time, even as an adult. But like, if it was then,
Yeah,
oh my God, oh my God, just
yeah.
I can't even go any deeper into
Well,
that one.
a lot of this stuff probably wouldn't have been happening, just to be honest, because it would have, you know what I mean? We were more doing stuff, not really thinking about it and worried about, hey, they're going to take this and put it on that. You know what I mean? We didn't really
Yeah.
have to worry about that type of stuff. So yeah, these kids nowadays, it's definitely tougher to move around.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being like very guarded even then. Like, I'm especially living with Andy. Andy was always guarded. Like, hey, who are these
Oh, big
people?
time.
I'm gonna be by
Yeah.
myself in South Campus. Like, that's it. And it's like that like rubbed off on me. It's like, wait, why does someone want to be nice to me? Why does someone want to be here? But it's like, even now, some of these guys coming in, you understand why they got to protect themselves. So you got to have blinders on because so many limited people make it to the top. And
Yeah.
just besides the hard work, I mean, the distractions and just life that happens.
Well, now it's 100 times more distractions. It seems like with all, the people on social media telling you this and tweeting it. I mean, if you make a wrong step, you're going to hear thousands of people saying you did this wrong, you did that, criticizing you, whatever. Especially if you're in the spotlight, and then and it seems nowadays these kids, everyone has like a circle around them, and I don't know if they're good or bad. So it's definitely more distractions, man, and so it's tougher for the kids. But again, the kids are different than we were. I think I think it's just the generation is totally different. Like the mindset, it's more so like, hey, like they love what comes with it, like being like, if you're a good basketball player, and all the stuff that comes with it. But do you really love the game and have a passion for the game? You know what I mean? It's a difference, so it's kind of few and far between of those kids who really care about
No, completely. If it's like you said, it's a different time. I mean, I know you still primarily train kids, train adults, and I've had my share and take doing that around the world. But that just comes down to having empathy. Comes down to being in the
it.
other
Yes.
person's shoes. How do I relate to, this 6-year-old who might be having the worst day of his life as a 6-year-old who's coming in, again, and I think that's a problem with a lot of adults. They just completely disengage and say, hey, just listen to me because I'm bigger than you. I mean, if you think even me growing up, we got spanked, we got hit, as kids, like that was like still like the norm then. But like even farther
Right.
back was just listen to me because I'm the older person. Do as I say. And like there's just no talking to kids like, hey, these are human beings also. Let me find a way to incentivize them to want to do something and to be better. It's tough
and
though.
and
It's
it
not
too
easy.
it it's super tough, especially like, we'll say something is easy. You're showing a kid how to dribble with your right hand or your left hand, and they can't do it. So you're in your head, you're like, man, what the heck? This kid sucks. Like you're like, how the heck can he do this? And I was able to do it right away. You know what I mean? Like but we're totally two different people. You know what I mean? And being a trainer, or whatever it is, a mentor, like you said, you have to have that empathy, and you have to put yourself in those person's shoes. Like their learning level is totally different than yours. How their approach, their mindset, it's totally different. So you have to be able to, like, almost, not, I want to say dumb yourself down, but get down to the level to where they're at of it. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And think how they're kind of thinking about it. And that could help you more so. And because a lot of times, and you said at the beginning, your ego gets in the way right away. Like your ego is like, oh, man, I'm not dealing with this kid, man. This kid can't even dribble with his right hand. You know what I mean? That's your ego talking to you. And you got to be able to, push that ego to the side and do it for, for the kid. It's not for you, it's for the kid.
Hmm. I mean, that's just a bigger play on society in general. We just feel
Yeah.
like, hey, I can talk down to somebody because I have more money than them, or I have this position of power, I have more experience than them, rather than improving upon what we already have. It's just, let's keep it as is, keep moving, keep steady, slow, gradual increase, and see you later. It's like,
Yeah,
that's,
you don't
why are we
really, you
settling?
don't, yeah, and you don't like, I mean, I'm not saying this for everyone, but like as far as like bosses go, why wouldn't you, want to mentor all the people that your employees under you to get to where you're at? Why would you want to like stifle these people and keep them under you so you could feel better about yourself? You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. It's about, building these people up to eventually to where they could go, if higher than you, whatever. It's the ego, but again, the ego gets involved to where like, oh, I'm bigger, I know more, and that's just the way it is. But we don't think like that as a society. It's like all based on like greed and and ego, and we just want to. It's almost like we want to keep everything to ourselves instead of helping others out to kind of get on the same level. Just imagine if everyone was like, building each other up to get on to a higher level. Like society would be in a whole different, place than it is now. You know what I mean?
Well, we know where that comes from, right? Fear
Yeah.
of just everything, and then it builds upon fear. And then why are we fearful? Well, we think we're going to die, or we think that someone's going to take our spot and this is going to be the end, when we don't know
Yeah.
if life really ends or not. And that's why we all need either meditation or acid. I vote for both. Everybody needs a good dosage. I'm not going to put it in the water supply. I think it's a natural choice. Everybody just needs a good tab or some psilocybin, and everybody will be able to really work on some of their stuff. Just get a good mind reset.
And it's crazy that you said fear, because I mean it comes in all different degrees, right? Like it could
Mm-hmm.
be something as simple as like, I miss my workout. I'm scared. I'm going to lose. I'm not going to, get in the shape that I need to get. Or, it's something like you miss something out of your routine during the day. It throws you completely off. You know what I mean? You're scared. You can't get back on track. So and for me too, like, cause I'm like a routine guy. I wake up, I meditate. I work out. I try to, keep a routine. Right. But it's sometimes it's good, but sometimes it can get you to where like, in a box, you know what I mean? It's not like you want to be able to be free and not have those anxieties of, if you miss out on something, you know what I mean? And then you could go to, like you said, fearing somebody's getting better at you, somebody's catching up if you don't do this. Like, why are we worried about all these things? You know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, everybody is their own person, but still in the back of your mind, we're thinking of like, oh, I'm not as good as him. I'm not going to be good. Like, I don't know. And I think to myself like that all the time. Why do we worry about that? Because I do. I still do. I wouldn't be lying if I said I had a completely, I'm not worrying about anything. I do. You know what I mean? But I think the biggest thing for me is, and what I've been learning is, I catch myself when I do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, shake out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is for me. This is my path. You know what I mean? And because worrying it doesn't get you anywhere. It brings more fear. Like you said, and fear is like, it can be it's a complicated word almost, because it has so much depth, and it can go so many different directions. You know what I mean? You hit it on the head when you said that, for sure.
No, a lot of our talks have been about, mindfulness, meditation, the life after, and we've gone deep the past few times we've talked. But how did you get into all this? Who put you on to, meditation, mindfulness, and how did you get into all of it?
So actually, when I went back to finish my degree, I think it was 2015, 14, 15, something like right there. But I had a old professor, Dr. Grimes, who taught meditation classes. And when I went back, I took him. I took one of her meditation classes. So that was kind of my introduction, and it was really like, man, I was just intrigued about how the mind works. And like, if you don't pay attention to anything, like you won't know anything. Like the mind is just chatting all day, and it's just like, it's normal to you, but you want to figure out, why is it doing this? Like, why is it saying stuff? Why am I having these crazy thoughts sometimes? Like, whatever it is. And so I was really intrigued with kind of like figuring out more how the mind works and why it does these things. And meditation really, like, it helped me learn more about it. Like, it slowed it down, and like, I started reading more about like Buddhism, and because I think for me, like, that's really like I guess, religion, whatever, that I relate to more so. Like, it just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you having these thoughts, like, I don't know, man. The mind is so complex, man. It's like, you could really go super in depth with it, and like, I don't know. It's a lifelong process. You know what I'm saying? And I really got into it, and it's been probably like, I don't know, almost 4 or 5 years since I've started meditating, and kind of just learning more and more about it. And yeah, it's a lifelong thing, man. You can never stop learning. It's always something new to grasp. You know what I mean? And like I said earlier, we only use 10% of our brain. It's crazy. Like, if we had access, how can I get access to the other 90%? You know what I mean? To where, and I think you said it, we know, we know some ways to access it, but it's just like, it's crazy, man. And I don't think people are always distracted and doing so many things. They don't even take the time to sit down and really think about things like that. You know what I mean? But that's the most important thing in the world is like knowing yourself and knowing what your mind's doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's important, man. It's important, man.
No, I do. I think that's like the biggest thing missing. I mean, just continuously sitting down with your thoughts to say, oh my God, why am I starting to have anxiety that I didn't work
Yeah,
out yet today? But
yeah,
then to go deeper onto that, so like why and where is that anxiety coming from? Where is that fear that if I'm not going to exercise is causing me this anxiety? And like you got to continuously play on that and close your eyes and go deeper and deeper because you have to get to that source. And until you get through those layers of who you are. And although I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, everybody, I don't. I suffer from all this stuff. I gotta figure it out myself. There's a great new show. Dude, you would love this show. One of my favorite comedians, and he's not even like a big stand-up comedian, but his name's Duncan Trussell. He's got a new series on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel, and it's
okay.
like a animated claymation series. Looks kind of like Rick and Morty, but he's just like this dude who lives in a trailer, but it's like a cartoon. But he goes inside his what's it called every night, his simulation machine, and he's going off in the universe into a different reality, and he's talking with these people for his video cast. Like can I interview you? And each character is actually some like Buddhist teacher or like somebody I recognize from his show that he does in real life, and they're just talking about philosophy of life and this and that when you die and this happens and that happens, and it's just like it's made me feel better every night I've watched it the past 2 days.
And
Really
that's crazy.
highly recommend it.
It's crazy that you say like it makes you feel better because it does make you feel better because it's like there's more to it, right? You know what I mean? It's like more than this. Like and like you said, like I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. We really don't know anything. No one really knows anything. It's just like that's how out there this stuff is. You know what I mean? It's just like you trying to fathom the stuff. I'm like, oh man, I go crazy sometimes, but it makes me feel better when I kind of think like when afterlife or you know what I mean. The stuff that you're doing can affect. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, man. And it's intriguing. You know what I mean? So I wanted to learn more about it, and I'm still trying to do that. You know?
Yeah, I think the best message I got from that show is like there's this feeling of life that we try so hard to protect ourselves from and shield ourselves away from. So we have, a job and we have these things and that thing, but like even like we try to hide ourselves from the fear. Like we give ourselves anxiety, but we never confront whatever that fear is, the most genuine feeling you could have. And then, something that can give you to make you feel, to cry or to feel love. Like we completely try and shield ourselves away from that any which way we possibly could to actually live to what it is to be human. It was like, whoa, I really need to reassess what I'm doing and how I get anxiety and how I get fearful of things. Cause like, there's no reason, there's no point to, and I'm not even enjoying my human experience, whatever this may be.
Yeah, it's like it's in depth, man. And I mean, I've read a lot about it, and I think, and with all religions, it's kind of like I guess all of them, even like with Buddhists and Christianity and all that, all the core values are pretty much the same. You know what I mean? If you really kind of look into it, like love, kindness, but then you just go off into, everything, the world is 12,000 years old, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like I think like the core values are very, very similar, you know what I mean? So, but it's people just take it, blow it out of proportion with, oh no, you're not this, you're man, come on, man. Like it's unreal.
No, if you read the Gospels, if you read, and look at it, what any religion, what it is. I mean, I got the Bhagavad Gita right in the bathroom. That's I got the incense and Bhagavad Gita right there to read that because, I mean, that's even more like in a narrative, like a story. Kind of like the Old Testament, where you're not meant to read these things as they are. You're supposed to get the message out of them. You know, why
That's
we do things. Like, where is the beauty in everything? If you really go back and read, like, even the New Testament and the early Christian writing, it's really beautiful of the way they talk about life and everything that comes with it. It's like, oh, don't worry about a pope and a bishop. It's like, think about this and think about how you look and perceive life. And it's like you said, it's just
that's
taking
yeah.
off the veils of all the extra stuff. Because again, that's the part where we try and hide the beauty of life. Where we try, oh, there's this thing, and then we're going to put this thing over here, and there's just more layers to block you from enjoying your existence and to be, or just to be.
Just to be. And I think too, like, everyone's gonna look at stuff and perceive it differently. But if you're trying to do right by people and doing the right thing, as long as you're perceiving it and it makes you happy, and like this kind of, you're looking at this and, oh, I'm looking at this because whatever it is, it makes me feel this type of way. If it makes you feel good, it makes you do good things, makes you treat people the right way, then do it. You know what I mean? That's what you should do. That's how you should look at that. I might look at it a different way. You know what I mean? But as
Mm-hmm.
long as it's making me feel good, and I'm taking care of my family and myself, and treating people the way they need to be treated, like, that's all it is. You know what I mean? No one is going to be like-minded in everything. You know what I mean? But you want to kind of find that, I guess, what am I trying to say? That commonality, I guess, to where it's like
The balance.
that balance, right? That you want to find that balance, right? To where, you're not on the same page, but treating each other with respect.
Completely. No, I have to take it back to trash talking, because I remember, and because I never trash talked before I got to Cuse. Like, I was laughing and joking on the court, fucking with people. I could troll them, and mess with somebody. But when I got to Cuse and you guys all were just, trash talking, like, on the court, the language, I thought we're on the same team. Like, oh man, like, I know everybody's being mean to me already because I'm the only freshman walk-on coming in. But I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I got to battle even harder now until I got it. And then, like, oh, okay. Swagger game jumped up by 1,000. How you got to deliver yourself on the court. Okay. All right. I know how to do it the right way. And it was like just mind blowing though at first. And now it's like, I can't help but trash talk. I mean, if I go play pickup ball and talk down
It's
to
just like,
somebody.
and that's, I mean, again, like, that's how I grew up playing. Like, I was always playing with older guys, and they're always, talking trash to me, cursing me out, whatever. Oh, you little MF, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So I kind of carried that with me, and it gave me an edge anyway. It gave me, like, a chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean? And I think, like, and I'm not saying you have to talk trash, but I'm just saying that you have to play with that passion. You have to play with that competitive side. And it was pretty cool having a guy like Johnny Flynn, because he was like the same type of dude as far as like competitiveness and talking trash. Like, I mean, it was times in practice where we were ready to fight. You know what I mean? And that's like just guys competing at the highest level. You know what I mean? And you don't really, I don't know if you see it everywhere, but I don't think you see it a lot nowadays. Like, I go to some practices, and they're not trying to compete like that, where they're, if you bump somebody or push them off, or that's just part of the game. You know what I mean? And we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna feel some type of way, but it's got softer, I think. You know what I mean? And I love, going to practice, seeing guys competing to where, they're almost fighting. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, and then if you make a basket and you feeling good, like, yeah, I'm letting you know. And then I'm telling my teammate, if my teammate hit a three, and I'm like, yeah, let him, talk to him, let him know. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting back on D, we're getting each other. I think it's just the whole team morale goes up with that, and the confidence, So, people can get it misunderstood a little bit, but I love it.
No, I think every guard who had to compete against me into 2012 when I graduated knew that I wasn't going to go soft on you. Number one,
Yeah.
because I built it as my job. Like, hey, I got to know what kind of way this guard plays. I got to get them better. I know every single guy's weaknesses, and I'm going to exploit those weaknesses every day in practice. Yeah, I'm trying to exploit them because I want more playing time, but at the same time, I can do my job on a daily basis. And like you said, like, oh, that's how, the whole accident happened with Coach Boeheim. He walks down the middle of the court in practice. I'm playing Dion full court, And I picked the ball from Dion. I got to go get this ball. I'm barely going to dunk it, throw it in and pull the rim down. It's like, I'm going to go down there and get this. And I'm going straight at coach. And he's right in the middle of the court. I jump this way. He goes to the right. I jump left. He goes to the left. And I squeeze around him, but kick his hand. And, it just broke and dislocated everything in his ring finger. And, man, I thought after that, I was like, oh, yeah, I got a scholarship now, but, like, I'm done. This guy's shipping you home. I might have to go pack my bag in the locker room right now.
You know what? He probably and knowing Coach Boeheim, like I know him, he probably liked you even more after that. You know what I mean? Just the type of guy he was, because he's a super competitive dude too. Like he loves nothing more than winning. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it's his kids and then winning. You know what I mean? Like that's just him. So I just found that out from him. Like, playing, like he loves competitive guys, and like, he doesn't want to see any of that back down. And me and him got into it, on several occasions. But one thing that I
as a
know is,
player or as a coach, because I know you coached with him.
No, not as a coach. Not as a coach. but no, as a player. But he respected, my competitiveness and my passion for the game. And he tells me that every now and then. But yeah, man, I just I'm better for it, man, for the way that he coached me and how he got on me. And I'm the type of guy, like, I love that. Like, because you yell at me, I'm like, man, fuck this dude, man. I'm about to go show him right now what's going on. You know what I mean? So I wasn't the type of dude to, like, shell up or be like, man, that wasn't me. I wanted to go out there and prove you wrong.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, I don't make names. I remember a bunch of guys like were like that though. They came in like top dog, and then Boeheim starts yelling at him, and it just like I was lucky to perceive that way too. Like, oh, this guy's not saying my name. If he's not talking to me, like I think Dan Swirls gave me that note when I first got there. If this guy's not talking to you, he don't know your name. You're doing a good job. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Shout
Danny
out to Dan
Swirl.
Swirls.
Shout out to Dan Swirls. He's been holding down the equipment room like with lock and key. You're lucky to get a pair of socks out of there.
Actually, he threw me a shirt last time I was there. I got a full
No, Dan,
Syracuse dry fit. That was massive. No one ever gets that.
yeah, after 10 years, you come back and you get a shirt.
Oh, what a guy. Yeah, I remember the first time Boeheim yelled at me. We're about to do that orange and blue scrimmage. Freshman year, I think Johnny was hurt. JT was hurt. All right, Brandon, you're on the blue team. You're going against Eric. And I'm like, just what? I got to start in this thing? I'm just like, oh, shit. Fuck. Like,
Is that where we did the little walk? We did the walk before or something?
Yeah, and he just goes. I think he spoke to me once or twice the whole time, and he stops practice and goes, I threw the ball away like in a 5-on-0. Like I really didn't know the plays at all. He goes, who is this? Who is this guy running my practice? Like not smirking at all, just complete like disgust. Like, can someone get this retard out of here? I need someone in here who could run my practice. Like, what the fuck's going on? To you're like, okay, let's get the ball. Let me get back in. Okay, I'll run the show. Just like, but just like, oh man, just put on the spot in front of everybody.
Oh, he's
man.
known for that. He's known for that. He's not going to hold back. He doesn't care who you are.
I had to ask you, and I wanted to get into, your experience in coaching, especially at Cuse. But who recruited you into Cuse?
So, well, first off, I was committed to Michigan State my sophomore year. I committed to Michigan State, and then I actually went to a game at Michigan State when they played Syracuse the national championship year. 2003, they played at Michigan State. Syracuse did. And when I saw them play, it was the first time I saw them play. I was like, man, I want to go here. I want to change my mind. This is where I want to go. So I told my AU coach that. And then later that week, I had to call Coach Tom Izzo and tell him I decommitted. And by the way, he told me that was the worst decision I'd ever make in my life when I told him that. So
No,
I'm like,
he
damn,
did that?
16. He did that. I was 16 years old, and I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I probably have a lot more mistakes to make in my life than this one. You know what I mean? But So he said that, and then my AU coach called Coach Boeheim, Syracuse. They flew down that week to watch me practice in Detroit, and it was Troy Weaver and Coach Boeheim. So Troy Weaver is now the general manager of, I want to say, Washington Wizards or OKC, one of the two. But they saw me practice, and then they offered me a scholarship on the spot. And yeah, that was it. I said, yeah. He basically, coach is like, so do you want to come? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I do. So then that was kind of it. And he was like, well, welcome, son. And then
Yeah, I do.
and that, and that was it, man. It was kind of it was easy. I mean, I was committed at the time, so like it wasn't really, guys were expecting for me to, open up. So when I reached out, it was kind of like, damn, well, yeah, I guess I was a high recruit at that time. So I was fortunate enough to have kind of my choice of school where to go to, but Syracuse was the best fit for me.
Lucky guy. And then you moved into, and so Troy, so it wasn't one of the guys, the coaches there. Cause I remember for me, it was like Burn recruited me, like, hey, you want to come here, you get a spot, there's no scholarship, potentially you can earn a scholarship in the future. So it's kind of like whenever I had a problem, like you went to your coach, you went to your guy. Like who
Yes.
was yours when you were there? Was it Murph? Was it Hop?
Yeah, well, I guess it would have been Murph, right? Because Murph was from Michigan. He was involved with my AAU program when I was growing up, so I was familiar with him. So it was Murph, but it was really Hop too. Like Hop was like he was the guards guy. Murph was down there with the forwards, right? So it was, Hop was my guy, man. Like in it's a super high energy guy. So I was always
Oh my
feeling good.
God.
You know, I was always feeling good around him, and he always had that energy. And I still talk to him this day, man. Just whether it's for advice or whatever it may be. But yeah, Hop was my guy for sure.
I haven't talked to Hop in a while. Another crazy Mike Hopkins story, man. Remember when he used to punt the ball in Manley Fieldhouse? All the guards after that, after you didn't practice in Manley Fieldhouse, you don't know what practices used to be like. The fighting, the ball punting, the language. It's so much nicer over at that Mellow Center.
Oh, because you used to have like we'd practice, and then you'd have the track team running around the track.
Track
You know what I mean?
team, lacrosse. I mean,
Yeah.
it was everybody in there. And Hop used to just lay into me. Just you were the only freshman walk on, man. You just got I think for the first 2 months of guard groups in practice, like just you made a mistake. Are you fucking high, Reese? What the fuck is wrong? Just punt the ball across the gym. You're like, did I actually do something wrong here? Or is he just grilling me right now? Just you didn't know how to react. I'm like, you didn't
It's
have Mike
pretty.
Hopkins before 2008. You don't know Mike Hopkins as a coach.
It's impressive too, because for a guy to be able to bring that energy every day like that, that's tough, man. You know what I mean? It's tough. I know he was drained. You know what I mean? But
Oh yeah.
uh, that's what made him. His energy. Obviously his knowledge for the game, but his energy was just on a different level than everybody else, and that's what kind of made him what he is, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm really happy that he's got the head coaching job and he's crushing it over there at Washington. Because I mean, like you said,
Yeah,
being drained. I mean, I remember him sleeping just like passed out under a basketball hoop at the Mellow Center, like still in his shorts and his shirt. 20 degrees outside. Were you planning on going home, like, or were you already out the door? Like, hop,
right.
go home.
It was many days where he probably didn't.
Oh man, nuts guy. But that's what I want to get into. When you got into coaching, I know you coached at Syracuse. And you were on as a were you your position or a GA when you were there, or were you
So when I was at Cuse, it was my official title was assistant strength coach, but it was just a title, for me to be able to kind of get my foot in the door, and I was in all the coaching meetings, and coach, he treated me like I was a coach. You know what I mean? He gave me say in the meetings. He asked me questions. Obviously I was working closely with the guys, so that was a real cool experience, especially to be able to work alongside. I played there, but then it's the totally different, seeing them in that war room, seeing them in those meetings, watching film together, just really soaking everything up. I mean, it's a awesome opportunity to learn from a Hall of Fame coach. So I was there for 2 years doing that, and then I had an opportunity last year to be a special assistant to the head coach at Detroit Mercy with Mike Davis. So two pretty well-known coaches. So it was pretty cool to learn, and totally two different philosophies, right? It's pretty interesting to see you know different coaches' approaches to the game. You know what I mean, and how they run their practice, how they talk to their players. It was totally different. So, but it was an experience that helped me out for sure.
What was the biggest difference, like, or, if I only knew, like, when you got to be on the coaching side, especially at Syracuse, and you get to watch practices now and watch games, like, what was, like, the biggest, like, yeah, I missed out right there. That was what was I doing?
So for the you mean on the coaching side?
Yeah. Like, when you have to look
So
back now and you're like, man, if I was a player and I did this here, I
yeah.
went around there. What was the biggest play?
Well, I mean, I was now you realize that I was an idiot. You know what I mean? I was an idiot back. You know what I mean? So, and then as far as playing goes, we're really in there dissecting the film, breaking it down. So I could really see, like, even in the zone when you're telling, man, I got it. You don't got it. Like, you break it down and like you're 3 steps off to where you're supposed to be. You're still standing there when the ball's on the wing and you're supposed to be bumping that guy down to the corner. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it was definitely an eye opener. When I started watching more and more film, it really helped me learn the game and learn players' tendencies. Players have, and we all have tendencies just in regular life to do stuff really unconsciously, not even knowing. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it was kind of cool to really see guys' tendencies and that could help me teach them better. You know what I mean? We got to break this habit, man. We got to, when the ball goes there, you're just standing. You know what I mean? You got to, move on the pass. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, watching film and breaking that stuff down, really realized that I made a lot of more mistakes than I than I thought I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really wish I watched more film of myself. I mean, I got to improve tremendously. It was like, I didn't get to go in the game as much or get as much playing time, but, like, I'm playing against future lottery pick guards every day in practice. One of them ended up
Yeah.
being a rookie of the year, but all professionals. So, the quality of experience and the chance to improve every day, which I think I definitely did, um, was just amazing. But if I got to go back and look at that film, and Brew had the film to go up and look in practice, but again, the onus was on me to say, hey, Todd,
Yeah.
make a DVD. I'll buy you the DVDs. Here you go to go do that extra work. But again, that's the difference of being, a semi-pro to just scratching professional surface to, being a consistent player. I mean, like you said,
But at the
I
same
was an
time,
idiot.
though, he could have did what he could have just went and put a tape in and gave you the film. I mean, it wouldn't have been a big ordeal or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, that's his that's his area. That's his sacred. So you got to make sure that sir, may I please have this? Yeah, I mean, so
I
it's
know
just
it's
and again, let's get back to ego. Like, this is my stuff. You know what I mean? So, like, you got to approach it as it is.
No, totally. I remember, like, I do a lot of video editing now. It's like, my main job and income. And I think about, like, when it was my senior year and I asked coach, if you can make phone calls. I got some tryouts in Israel set up. I think we were trying out for the same team, the Haifa team, that summer in 2012 that Byrne
In
had set up.
Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had some other tryouts later that summer. I actually flew to Israel to do a few things for a few teams. And I was like, hey, coach, can you make some phone calls? Can I put your phone number down as a reference? Who knows me? I'm not that well known of a guy.
What? Jeez. Oh my God.
And I'm like, just like, I don't know how many more favors I'm going to ask this guy. It's like, all right. And then it's like, Okay, I need film, and I got a limited amount of film. Who's the film guy? Todd, I need you do this. He goes, here you go. You can press all these buttons and do this. And it was like, now I think back to my first video editing gig. It's like, all right, I got to cut up all this film and go through every single practice. And I need this thing here and do that. And I literally just sat there, and I was cutting it and doing it. It's like, oh man, like I said, if you want to get there, no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. So like you said, you learned how to do it yourself. Now you don't got to worry about asking Brew.
Oh man, I've almost even forgot where I was going to go next to it. No. So it's funny, like even now as a coach, because I had the experience I've had coaching, everybody wants to know the 2-3 zone. Everybody comes to you and just like, hey, excuse me, how do you do this? How does it work so well? How do you do this? And it's just like, wow, like you mentioned before, bumping. Like you tell somebody 2-3 zone, okay, we're gonna use this phrase called a bump. Like, what are you talking about? Like bump? I'm like, all right, the amount of like technical things that coach teaches or he's done inside his own zone are just things that people even haven't even thought about yet.
Right. And it's crazy because that's, probably 50% of the reason why Detroit Mercy brought me there, because I taught every single coach the zone. That's the first thing they're like, all right, we need you to break down the zone inside out and teach it from every position. And we need every coach to know it. So we break it down to positions. They know where these guys have to do. So I was literally like, coaching the coaches on the zone, you know what I mean? From the head coach to all the assistants. So yeah, it's definitely a different zone. It's we have talk inside the zone that people don't know what the heck it's talking about. Like you said, bumping down, or when the ball goes to the high post, we're getting out to the shooters, those forwards are dropping down, or they're reading if the guy's in the short corner, or if he's in the deep corner in the 3-point. So it's a lot that goes into it, man, and you got to really focus and pay attention. And at Detroit Mercy, like it just wasn't, they got a little bit of it, but I don't think they were focused to where they really, wanted to really get good at it. You got to pay attention to the detail, where the ball is on the, that spot on the wing, that opposite wing has to drop in a little bit to where he could be able to play this and that. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a lot of different detail in it. So you got to be able to focus.
Yeah, there is that, the different caliber of players at the highest and lowest, or whatever
Yes.
level Detroit Mercy was, but
Mid-major, yeah.
it's also that coach has 6'6" to 6'10" guys on those bottom corners of that zone who can
Yes.
deny a jump shot, like James Sutherland used to come out and just fly out there, or you had Hack who would
Yeah.
just come out and just block a 3-point shooter in the corner of there, or who can deny the pass as well as deny the pass into that high post when they run up. And you're
Right.
even getting a side zone, a corner trap, a wing trap or a corner trap. I mean, it's so big and so long. Chris Joseph, when I was there, 6'6" guy who can fly. Just not fair. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the difference for
Oh,
some of
no
these.
question. If you have athletes, I mean, if you have guys in the back, 6'10", 6'7", flying all over the place, it takes them one big step to get out to the shooter. Rather we have, a guy at Detroit Mercy mid-major school who's, 6'5", 6'6", and, not as long and athletic. It might take him 2-3 steps. And that's just the difference from a shooter getting a shot off to not getting a shot off. You know what I mean? So you take one of those steps away, that guy's, knocking that 3 down. So it definitely helps to be able to, cover that space in one slide compared to 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm even thinking now, like Jeremy Grant too, like one of the most athletic guys in the NBA, and you had him and James on both corners down there. You know why they made it to a Final Four? Like that's
Yeah.
nuts. It's so fucking
Well, and
long.
then you had Carter Williams up top, 6'6". I mean, try to get the ball in the high post right there through him. You know what I mean? So, and then he's flying all over up top. I mean, that was one of the best zones, coaches ever had
Hmm.
defensively for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even the smallest guy is Trevor at 6'2".
And he's bouncing. He knows how to play the zone. You know what I mean? And with guys like that, like myself, and guys who maybe aren't as fast and athletic, now it's about making those reads. You can cheat it a little bit once you really know it. Now I'm cheating over here a little bit because I know I can get to there. You know what I mean? Or I could, slide down a little bit, whatever it is. And, Trevor was one of the better ones at that. He read it well, and, he did a good job.
Or Andy as well. I mean, Andy averaged almost
Oh,
like 2 or
yes.
3 steals a game. I
Yeah.
think that year after you left, that one we had a great run. We just had another bad beat, of Renze
Yeah.
tearing his quad. Tears a quad of all things in the Big East tournament. Number 1 rank going in. Tears a quad.
Yeah, like, come on, AO, can you suck it up? No, no. No, that was tough. It would have been a national championship, at least.
We run into Butler. The first year Butler was Butler.
Yeah, and it was kind of like you were missing. And Rick did, Rick did what he could do. Like, and everyone, I don't think everyone really had a game, but I just think
No. We didn't play our best. It was DeShante played a lot of middlemen in that tourney. He came
it's just
in.
your presence though, like AO's presence. It's completely different when you see a guy 6'9", 260 in the middle, and compared, and who's been producing all year, and one of the top players on the team. So it definitely made a difference him not being in the middle.
Yeah, just unbelievable. Of all injuries, a tear. Just,
Yeah,
oh,
I
he
know.
comes out, sprained his ankle. All right, we're going to really ice this up, get him on the water treadmill. We're good to go. It's just a season-ending tear. And the same thing happened with Fab, just like with whatever happened with Fab, rest of Solar, just like, we lose a 7-foot, 5 blocks a game center going
That's
into
the
the
anchor.
tournament.
That's the anchor of the zone, man.
Even that squad, man, that was a deep squad. 2012 it was
Deep
Dion,
squad.
Scoop, Trish, Carter Williams in the backcourt. Then you had James, Chris Joe, Shante, Fab. Unbelievable. And
Yeah, it was tough, man. It's been some teams that definitely had opportunities to do some, to make deep runs for sure.
yeah, it just got me reminiscing. I think my blood pressure is up here. I'm just ready. I'm just jacked up right now. I'm just ready to go. Just thinking about that. Those losses. They were brutal. Do you guys have a brutal
Yeah,
loss? What was your most just toughest loss? Like, shit.
I'd probably have to say Sweet 16 versus Blake Griffin in Oklahoma. I think we lost by probably like 7.
No, we
It
lost by
probably
like
felt like
37. No.
no, we lost. No, we lost by like 7, but it felt like it was way more. It was probably free throws towards the end or something. But it was one
No.
of
I
those
played in
games
that
where
game, so it was bad.
no, it wasn't. It couldn't have been 30. It was no way it was 30. It was closer than that. You got to look that up.
I don't know, man. Crocker was off that night. That guy was hitting like 8 or 10 threes.
That's what I was just gonna tell you. Uh, that point of the year, he was like, I don't know, 29% shooting from 3. And then it always happens to us. He comes in the game and he hits 7 threes on that wing. And we're like, man, this dude hasn't been doing this the whole year, but he comes in and hits 7 threes. And obviously Blake Griffin did what he did. And,
Dude, what did he
it
have?
was
He had a
like,
quiet
wow.
37, hit his head on the
He had like
backboard.
he had like a quiet 30 and 15 or something.
All right. 13 points we lost by.
Okay, 13. I
Yeah,
knew it was more
not
than
as bad.
30. Yeah.
Mookie and I must have came in and did some damage then. Oh man, dude, how excited are you for the next? Well, the first 2 Jordan pieces were unbelievable, but for the rest of this Jordan documentary, like, I'm just so jazzed. It's like this is the intro song coming in. Like, it's not like a hip hop song. It's affiliated with basketball at all. It's just like some electronic rock song. You're just like, whoa, like I'm back
Well,
in it.
I kind of got a sneak peek of episode 3 and 4 as well. I got to watch both of 3 and 4. I was lucky to have a connect who hooked me up to 3 and 4. But that's what we were talking about when we were going back. Look at how this dude approached the game, man. Like, dude, he was an asshole on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you need, like, to separate yourself. Like, all these dudes are so talented. Like, they're so talented playing basketball. Like, it's so many good guys who can shoot, dribble, jump, whatever it is. Like, what are you bringing to the table that's separating you? Like, you got to be a little bit of a dickhead. You gotta be, because that, and I think it goes in business too. And I'm not saying you gotta be a vulture and you just kill the dude, but you got you gotta have a little bit of chip on your shoulder, man. Like to separate yourself. Like that's what I truly believe that, and Mike obviously was the greatest at it.
Yeah, it's like he could be the Batman. Like, where Gotham City doesn't know that Batman's going to come in and he's going to protect the Harvey Dent, not show that this guy's the bad guy, that I can be the bad guy for everybody now. And everybody know, well, why is he doing this? Why is he being this? 'Cause he's like, you really get to listen to him talk, because he hasn't really been in the limelight. There's no interviews with him. It's just like, listen, in order to draw the best out of this person, I had to push people, and I pushed people on the court X amount of ways. I wasn't able to get what I wanted from them. Then you got Phil Jackson just guruing him like to the T, like, okay, what do I want Michael to get the most out of today? I'm going to put him on this scout team here and
Yeah.
put him against the best 5 here, who are just going to just enrage him so much. That's going to make him even better. That's why Phil Jackson comes in as just just an incredible catalyst.
Oh, just mentally, it was just knowing what to do and what buttons to push. You know what I mean? And a lot of people need that, man. Like, they need that guy to push them, because they can't push themselves. So like Michael pushing Scotty pushing Horace, whatever it is, man. Those, like, people need that. Like, that's why, it's good when people can learn how to work together and not take, constructive criticism as a personal attack. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's, hey, we're doing this. I'm trying to get something out of you. Like, we're doing this for the better of the team, the better of the business, whatever it is. And like, I know you could do that. Like, you got to expect that of yourself. You know what I mean? And I know that hasn't been your mindset, till now. Like, I'm letting you know, like, you got to expect more of yourself. And sometimes, like, people need that. You know what I mean? They need that shot in the chest just to let them know they're capable of doing that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm that fire of a person. Like, even when I go to a court and play pickup, like, I'm letting the complete stranger know, like, dude, we're talking when you drop back over here. Like, you better be talking help side.
Yeah.
And I leave the court later. I'm like, "God, why was I talking to some 16-year-old kid and yelling at him like that? Like, Brandon, what are you doing?" It's like, I want to win that bat. Like,
That's the competitor.
man. I mean, that was the part I could relate with, Michael Jordan that much. I remember all those VHS tapes growing up, like Michael Jordan Come Fly With Me, Michael Jordan Airtime. Like, there were all those, and they would always tell the story about how competitive he was as a kid, where it'd be like his brother would beat him, and then when he got to college, he was playing Monopoly all night because he had to beat his roommate in Monopoly before he can get to the next day. And just like,
Yeah.
somehow at like 6 years old, I was like, okay, I gotta work that hard. If I want to do it, I gotta win it more than anybody. Even like
That's it.
now, like if I have a girlfriend or something and we're playing something and I lose, like, I can show it on the surface, like, oh yeah, cool, I lost. On the inside though, even if we're playing a board game with a bunch of friends, I'm just like, I'm ready to I'm so enraged. I'm like, I can't lose.
Yeah, that's just you. Like, that's what gives you your edge. And I think people, like I said, people can get that, misconstrued a little bit.
So give us a sneak peek in episode 3 and 4. I hear one of them's like heavily Rodman based.
Yes, the first one is mostly about Dennis, and then I mean, obviously it's always something about Michael in there, but then the next episode there's a lot about Phil in there, a lot about Phil, like how he grew up, like why his approach is what it is. Like, he grew up like on a Native American reservation type thing, so that's why his the meditation and all the holistic type stuff comes into play. So it was pretty interesting, hearing about that too. Phil's a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Just smoking peyote out in the desert, just
Oh,
really
he's done
getting
it.
in tune.
He talks he talks about that. He talks about that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. He kind of brings up where he yeah. I'll let you watch it. I'm not gonna say the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why Rodman's an interesting character when they bring him in to that team. They have that meeting at Jared Krause's house, and they're like, "Okay, Dennis, we need you to say sorry to Scottie Pippen, and then we need you. This is Michael's show. This is what you need to do." It's like, okay, yeah. Here's my thing though. After the game, before the game, you don't know anything about me. I'm gone. I'm out. Like, just the stories of how he used to go, like, from the wouldn't shower, get dressed, and would just take off. And he's out all night long. Shows up back the next day. All right, pulling down 20 rebounds, playing 38 minutes. Just insane to
Yeah.
think that he pushed that all the way till he was like 35 years old.
And Phil was like the perfect guy for him, because Phil was like, you just kind of got to let him do what he does. You know what I mean? And as long as he comes back and does his job, like, hey, what are we going to say? We can't really say too much. And Phil was like, he didn't have him on a leash. He knew what type of guy he was, and he kind of let him do him, but, also had, rules within place as well.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just so
So,
interesting. But I know I'm respectful of your time, and I think we are good to wrap this up. I think I completely botched the live stream. So sorry to anybody on the live stream if it didn't show both of our faces. If you just had to look at me the entire time, the show will be out tomorrow. I'm going to get this edited up and released and get over to E. E, thank you so much for joining, man. I really appreciate it.
that was awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you having me. Let's do it again.
I'm going to book you in more and more often then.
Awesome. And we could do a different episode. It doesn't have to be 23,
Fine. I don't have to wait 100 episodes to get you back
right.
on.
Yeah.
Real
Cool,
quick, let people know where they can listen to not only see your drills, but whether it's going to be on your YouTube channel, but let people know where they can connect with you online. And what I can advocate is tell people that they can just shoot you a message, just a message away to change your life or to get to know somebody or to learn something new.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on most social platforms. So I'm on LinkedIn, just my name, Eric Devendorf, and then I'm on Twitter. It's at EDEVEN23. So it's EDEVEN23, and then my Instagram is just at Eric Devendorf. So yeah, I post videos for the kids and instructional videos. I mean, for everyone. It's not just for the kids. So, and then just really anything. Trying to help the people, like sending out positive vibes, positive energy, stuff like that. So yeah, hit me up, man. And, I'm out here to help for sure.
Listen, guys, I was a great defender, but I don't think I ever blocked one of his left-hand layups. Like, there was just no getting to it. Even when you thought you were there, you had him beat. Like, there's no blocking his left hand. You were an unbelievable left-hand finisher, man. I will give
I
you.
appreciate you, man.
The competitor in me hurts to compliment somebody, but oh man, you roasted us with that one.
That's my go-to.
But dude, thank you so much again for tuning in, and thank you everybody else for tuning in on the live stream. I hope everything worked out great and I didn't botch it, but if I did, sorry about that. Next episode will be better. I don't think we'll be there one tomorrow, but there should be one Saturday with another hooper, AJ Ramsa from UCF. Really, really, really cool dude. Really inspiring dude. And please make sure if you watch the show, you like the show, go hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Go follow me on all the platforms. If you watch this on Twitch, if you watch this on Periscope, Twitter, go ahead, get on the bus with us. There's plenty more bus content to come, especially when quarantine's out. And if you're listening to this on the podcast app, subscribe. Go ahead, hit the subscribe and leave us a review. I only improve from your reviews, and I do read them all. Trust me. I write down
Awesome.
who wrote the bad ones. All right. I can't stand that person. Your ARIA kill list, not a real kill list. And yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a great day.
Awesome, man.